Mission to the Moon. Srila Prabhupada. Now there is a scarcity of water in India. But what are the scientists doing about it? There is more than enough water in the world. So why don't the scientists bring water where it is urgently required? They should employ irrigation immediately. But instead they are going to the moon, the dusty planet, to make it fertile. Why don't they irrigate this planet? There's plenty of seawater. So why don't they irrigate the Sahara or Arabian or Rajasthani desert? Yes, they say in the future. We are trying in their pride. They immediately say, yes, yes, we are trying. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that when one is engaged in the business of satisfying unnecessary desires, he becomes bereft of all intelligence. This moon project is childish. Those who aspire to go to the moon are like crying children. A child cries, "Mother, give me the moon." So the mother gives the child a mirror and says, "Here is the moon, my dear son." And the child takes the mirror, sees the moon in it, and says, "Oh, I have the moon." Unfortunately, this is not just a story. Karandhar Das. After spending all that money to go to the moon and bring back just a few rocks, the people on the space project decided that there was nothing more to do there. Brahmananda Swami. Now they want to go to another planet, but they are short of money. Going to other planets costs millions and billions of dollars. Srila Prabhupada. People work very hard while the rascal government takes taxes and spends money unnecessarily. There should be no sympathy when so much hard earned money comes from the public and is spent so foolishly. Now the leaders are presenting another bluff. Don't worry, we are going to another planet. Now we shall bring more dust. We shall bring tons of dust. Oh, yes, now we shall have tons of dust. Dr. Singh. They believe there may be life on Mars. Srila Prabhupada. They may believe or not believe. What is the difference? Life exists here, but people are fighting. So suppose there is life on Mars, there is life on Mars, undoubtedly. But what will we gain from this? Dr. Singh. People are curious to know what is going on there. Srila Prabhupada. That means that for their childish curiosity, they must spend vast sums of money. Just see the fun. And when they are asked to help one of the many poverty stricken countries, they say, "No, no money." Do you see? Test tube baby. Dr. Singh. Some scientists hope that in the future they will be able to make babies in test tubes. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, they intend to combine male and female elements in biological laboratories. Srila Prabhupada. If they begin with living entities, what is the purpose of the test tube? It is only a place for combination, but so is the womb. Where is the credit for the scientists if this is already being done in nature's test tube? Karandhar. It is already being done by nature, but when some scientist does it, people will give him the Nobel Prize. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, that is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse indicates that those who praise men who are like animals are no better than dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. So means dog, with Varaha means stool eating hog, Ustra means camel, and Khara means ass. If the Nobel Prize is given to a scientist who is rascal, the men on the committee who give him that prize are no better than dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. We don't accept them as human beings. One animal is praised by another animal. Where is the credit in that? If the men on the committee are no better than animals, anyone who receives the Nobel Prize in science is fool number one. Because animals are praising him, not human beings. Dr. Singh. For some scientists, the Nobel Prize is the ultimate. Srila Prabhupada. They are rascals. They are speaking nonsense. And because they are juggling words, others are being misled. Brahmananda Swami. Nobel is the person who invented dynamite. Srila Prabhupada. He has created great misfortune and he has left his money for creating further misfortune. Brahmananda Swami. The Gita says that demoniac people perform acts meant to destroy the world. Srila Prabhupada. Yes. Ugra Karmana Kshaya Jagato. Hita. They perform acts meant for inauspiciousness and the destruction of the world. Thieves in disguise. Srila Prabhupada. Holding a rose in his hand. Can any scientist create a flower like this in the laboratory? Dr. Singh. That is not possible. Srila Prabhupada. No, it is not. Just see how wonderfully Krishna's energy is working. No scientist can create a flower like this in his laboratory. They cannot create even a few grains of sand, yet they claim to possess the most advanced intellects in the universe. This is foolish. Dr. Singh. They take matter from Krishna, manipulate it, and then claim that they have created something wonderful. Srila Prabhupada. At least if they would admit that they have taken the matter from Krishna, that would be good. We understand that everything comes from Krishna. Dr. Singh. But they will not admit that they are taking anything from Krishna. Instead, they say that they are the creators. Srila Prabhupada. How have they created anything? They take the sand and mix it with some chemicals and make glass. They have not created the sand or the chemicals. They have taken them from the earth. How have they created anything? Dr. Singh. They say we have taken the materials from nature. Srila Prabhupada. From nature means from a person. They have taken from nature, but they are thieves because everything in nature belongs to Krishna. Everything is God's creation. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states that if one does not perform yajna, he is a thief. Yajna means acknowledging that things have been taken from Krishna. We should think, Krishna, you have given us many things for our maintenance. This much acknowledgement Krishna wants. That's all. Otherwise, what can he expect from you? What are you in his presence? We should acknowledge Krishna's kindness. Therefore, before we eat, we offer the food to Krishna and say, Krishna, you have given us this nice food, so first you taste it, then we eat it. Krishna is not hungry, yet he can eat the whole world and then again produce it exactly as it was. Purnasya Purnam Adhaya Purnam Eva Shishyate. Krishna is so perfect that if you take from Krishna all of Krishna's energy, all the original energy is still with him. That is perfect conservation of energy. Illusory progress. Srila Prabhupada. Everyone is suffering here in the material world, and scientific improvement means that the scientists are creating a situation of further suffering. That's all. They are not making improvements. Bhakti Vinod Thakur confirms this by saying, Moha Janmiya Anitya Samsare Jeev ke Karaye Gadha. By so-called scientific improvements, the scientist has become an ass. Moreover, he is becoming a better and better ass, and nothing more. Suppose that by working very hard like an ass, a person builds a skyscraper. He may engage in a lifelong labor for this, but ultimately he must die. He cannot stay. He will be kicked out of his skyscraper because material life is impermanent. Scientists are constantly doing research, and if you ask them what they are doing, they say, "Oh, it is for the next generation, for the future." But I say, what about you? What about your skyscraper? If in your next life you are going to be a tree, what will you do with your next generation then? But he is an ass. He does not know that he is going to stand before his skyscraper for 10,000 years. And what about the next generation? If there is no petrol, what will the next generation do? And how will the next generation help him if he is going to be a cat, a dog, or a tree? The scientists and everyone else should endeavor to achieve freedom from the repetition of birth and death. But instead, everyone is becoming more and more entangled in the cycle of birth and death. Bhavesmin klishyamanam avidyakama karmabhiya. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. Here in one line the whole material existence is explained. This is literature. This one line is worth thousands of years of research work. It explains how the living entity is taking birth in this world, where he comes from, where he is going, what his activities should be, and many other essential things. The words Bhavesmin Klishyamanam refer to the struggle for existence. Why does this struggle exist? Because of avidya, ignorance. And what is the nature of that ignorance? Kama karma biha. Being forced to work simply for the senses, or in other words, entanglement in material sense gratification. Student, so, is it true that modern science research increases the demands of the body because the scientist is ultimately working to gratify the senses? Srila Prabhupada, yes. Science should stop death. Brahmananda Swami. Do scientists know the cause of cancer? Dr. Singh. They have several theories. Srila Prabhupada. Cancer, what is the benefit? If you could stop cancer, you could not make a man live forever. That is not possible. Cancer or no cancer, a man has to die. He cannot stop death. Death may be caused, if not by cancer, simply by an accident. Real scientific research should aim at stopping death. That is real science, and that is Krishna consciousness. Simply to discover some medicine to cure disease is not a trump. The real trump is to stop all disease. Bhagavad Gita asserts that the real trouble is birth, death, old age, and disease. Abrahma bhuvanal loko punar avartino rajuna. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. This solution to the problem of repeated birth and death is Krishna consciousness, which we are practicing and offering to everyone. The perfect result of this practice is that after the present body becomes useless and dies, one is no longer forced to accept a material body, subject to birth, death, disease, and old age. This is real science. Advertising ignorance as knowledge. Student, so it is our desire to enjoy that causes us to take on these material bodies, and our desire to achieve Krishna that brings us to our natural position. Srila Prabhupada, yes. Dr. Singh. But there seems to be a constant struggle with our lower nature. We are constantly fighting our desires for sense gratification. Even though we want to serve Krishna, does this continue? Student, the body is almost like a dictator from within. Srila Prabhupada, yes. That means you are strongly under the control of material energy or Maya. Dr. Singh, even though we also desire to serve Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, yes. A thief may know that if he steals, he will be arrested and put into jail. He may have even seen others being arrested, yet he still steals. Even though he is aware that he is under the authority of the state, he still acts according to his desires. This is called tamas or ignorance. Therefore, knowledge is the beginning of spiritual life. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives Arjuna knowledge. He teaches, you are not this body. This is the beginning of knowledge. But where is the university that teaches this knowledge? Dr. Singh, can you tell me where that university is that teaches this knowledge? Dr. Singh, there is none. Srila Prabhupada, that is the position of education. There is no knowledge, they simply advertise ignorance as knowledge. Dr. Singh, but if the scientists knew that they were not their bodies, their whole outlook would change. Srila Prabhupada, yes, we want that. Student, but they don't want to admit their failure. Srila Prabhupada, then that is further foolishness. If you are a fool and you pose yourself as intelligent, that is further foolishness. Then you cannot make progress. And if you remain in ignorance and advertise yourself as a man of knowledge, you are a great cheater. You are cheating yourself and cheating others. People are so mad after the material advancement of civilization that they have become exactly like cats and dogs. For instance, they have set up an immigration department, and as soon as you enter a country, these dogs go woof woof woof. Why have you come? What is your business? This is a watchdog's activity. A first class gentleman is being searched for a revolver. People cannot be trusted, and now there are so many educated rogues and thieves. So, what is the meaning of advancement? Can we say that education means advancement? Is this civilization? Fighting ignorance with knowledge. Student, some people say that one reason for the Vietnam War was that the communists were atheists. It was a dispute between the theists and the atheists. At least that is one excuse given for the war. Srila Prabhupada, we are also prepared to kill the atheists, but that killing is by preaching. If I kill your ignorance, it can also be called killing. Killing does not necessarily mean that everyone has to take the sword. Dr. Singh, a new method of warfare. Srila Prabhupada, no, fighting ignorance with arguments and knowledge has always existed. The bodily conception of life is animal life. The animal does not know about matter and spirit, and one who is under the bodily conception of life is no better than an animal. When an animal talks, the intelligent man laughs. Such talk is nonsense. The animal is not talking knowledge. Student, at least the animals live by certain codes. They do not kill unnecessarily, and they only eat when necessary. Whereas humans kill unnecessarily and eat unnecessarily. So, in one sense, humans are lower than animals. Srila Prabhupada, Therefore, we must suffer more than animals. Krishna consciousness is not a bogus, sentimental, religious movement. It is a scientific movement designed to alleviate human suffering. Dr. Singh, scientists and other people say that everything in the universe is happening by chance. Srila Prabhupada. So are they also writing books on the subject by chance? Karandhar. The books are also written by chance, they say. Srila Prabhupada. So what is their credit? By chance, anything can be written? Dr. Singh, the French scientist Dr. J. Monod got the Nobel Prize in 1965. He says that everything started by chance, that by chance certain chemicals combined and formed the basic molecules. Srila Prabhupada, but where did the chemicals come from? Dr. Singh, according to him, they were created simply by chance. And when the necessity arose, molecules of the chemicals reoriented themselves. Srila Prabhupada, if everything was happening by chance, how can there be necessity? How can he speak of chance and necessity in the same breath? It is nonsense. If everything is directed by chance, why do people send their children to school? Why not let them grow up by chance? Suppose I break a law. If I say, well, it is just happened by chance, will I be excused? Student, it would certainly be stupid to say that a beautiful instrument like a violin was made by chance. Srila Prabhupada, yes, it is most regrettable that such a rascal can get recognition. He is talking foolishness and getting recognition.